I like to take old biddies and punching mocks.
Fuck. Hit the wrong button.
The Dork Podcast with Rich Keefe. It's the Dork Podcast. And Davey. It's the Dork Podcast. Hashtag. It's the hashtag Dork Podcast.
Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Hashtag Dork. My name is Rich Keefe, joined as always by Davey Eyeballs. He is Rick Rude Von Dick Dude. He is Ray Von Day. All hail. The king of ginger ale. It's Ryan Davey. Davey, how are you?
You made me sound like, what's that? Tazon Day? Chocolate Rain? Ray Von Day?
Ray Von Day.
Chocolate. I think that's my voice. That's my low voice. It's my Chocolate Rain voice.
Still bad. It has to do with the connection. It has to be the connection because my shit's fine.
My shit is fine.
I feel like I'm talking normally.
Whatever happened to that guy, you think?
I don't know. Tazon Day? I don't know. He's probably still still counting that YouTube money.
That's true. That's probably pouring in. He's probably got plenty of views. You really only need one massive hit like that.
Yeah, we're still waiting for it. We're still waiting for that.
This could be the one. This might be the one. There could be a big Ms. Marvel fan base out there, and people just start listening. Like, I need all the content Ms. Marvel that's out there. Whatever you guys have, I need it.
You just got back from vacation, yes?
Yeah, I just took a long weekend up in Maine.
I was in the great state of New Hampshire.
How? I mean, I don't even need to ask, but where in New Hampshire were you?
I was in Milton, New Hampshire, at the Jellystone Yogi Bear's Jellystone Campground. What a time! I tell you, that place does it right. They got a pool and a pond.
Look at you.
Know? And the best part is there's like this massive pool, only 3.5 feet deep.
Is that right?
How about that?
Big pool? That's a little shallow. I mean, good for the kids.
Yeah, but it's all for kids, and they got hoops. They got 3 basketball hoops in that thing.
That's fun.
I tell you what, I'm a terrible basketball player.
Yes.
But if I don't have to run, jump, or pass, I'm awesome.
3 minor aspects of the game.
Yeah, just minor aspects. If I could just like stand in waist deep water and shoot, if they had like a pool basketball league, I would be outrageously good.
Yeah, that does sound pretty good.
Mm-hmm. You want to be on my team?
I'll play.
All right, good.
I'd be happy to play. I was just freezing my tail off in the ocean. The Maine Ocean is just like ridiculous. Like
it takes a certain kind of person to deal with that type of water.
Certain kind of psycho. But I'm like, this is probably pretty good for my plantar fasciitis getting in there.
How is that?
Better. Much better than it was.
Yeah.
Doc had a good advice. Doc said fill up a water bottle with water, freeze it, and then kind of roll over it with the ice thing.
Yeah.
That helped. That helped a great deal. So
my feet are fucked. I got the worst feet in the world. So
that's gonna be the pull quote from the episode.
My feet are fucked. Like I have the worst feet.
My feet are fucked.
Yeah, I have to wear like those, those like 0 drop shoes, like the ones with like the wide toe box. I have to wear those all the time now.
I wear those brown orthopedic shoes because I got a bad case of the gout.
Believe it, gout's no fucking joke, man.
No,
uric acid is no joke.
My old neighbor, when I was living in Medford, had pretty bad gout. No laughing matter.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Ray Liotta
dead.
This week in Dork.
Since our last episode, the Emmy nominations are out. I'm not going to go through the entire list and all the categories, but one did jump out to me, Ryan, because I think, and I feel pretty good in saying this might come across as a TV hot take, and I'm not trying to be a flamethrower here, but I think this is the best crop of drama nominees in the history of the Emmys. I did a brief look through, and some of the other years, there might have been shows you thought were stronger. There might have been shows you liked better, whether it be Breaking Bad, Sopranos, good years of Game of Thrones. But there was always like 1 or 2 kind of like, oh, really? That's in there? Or
Downton Abbey. Or some fucking period piece that like, I don't give a shit if you like Downton Abbey. You don't. It stinks.
Yeah, it's not for me. Not for me. Well, like there'd always be like an outlier or a show that you're like, all right, that's probably just like, happens to be on ABC that year. They wanted to toss one in there. This is first of all, 8 nominees is a lot of nominees, but these are the 8 shows. And again, this takes place from last June to this June. So it's not like 2021. It's like half of 21, half of 22.
Mm-hmm.
Better Call Saul, Euphoria, Ozark, Severance, Squid Game, Stranger Things, Succession, and Yellow Jackets.
I got to tell you, so I cannot speak to Succession because I haven't seen that show.
Okay.
but I'm going to make this claim. When Ozark, which isn't a bad show, is the worst show on that list.
Yep, I agree.
I'm going to assume that what everyone's told me about Succession is that show is incredible, right?
Awesome. I love it.
So looking at that, I mean, I haven't seen all of Euphoria, but every time I walk by, my wife's watching. I'm like, Jesus Christ, this show is intense.
So I just started because it was the only show on this list that I hadn't seen. So I just started. I ripped through all of season 1, and that's nominated as season 2, and I'm 3 episodes in. It's only 8 episodes long. So I'm going to finish that by the time this rolls around. We'll see what happens with Better Call Saul, but last week's episode was fucking awesome.
Woo!
Awesome.
Speaking of flamethrowers, that show.
Yeah.
I'm like, if they just play par golf, if they just play par,
you're not going
they're
for
fine.
par.
And they come in and shoot like an eagle. First hole. Like, okay.
They're not playing for par. I agree with you. I think this season of Ozark I liked a lot, and it was probably like a 5 out of 6. All the other shows are either 5.5s or 6s.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Like Yellow Jackets. Like, fucking that show's awesome.
Loved Yellow Jackets.
I forget that they came out this year.
Yeah, right. Well, it came out December.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, again, like Squid Game was last year, but it was the second half of last year. So it counts for
well,
this
you know
year.
me. I do school years. So my school year is a year. That's like September to
you go fall to spring.
August is a year. Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's fair. Here's my question. This is the question for the people out there as well. And you can tweet us at Dork Podcast, or you can email us dorkpodcast@gmail.com at any time. Anytime you want to do that. Why in your mind do you think, Ryan, that the Emmy nominations are shows that we have seen and that we like, and then the Oscar nominations are fucking like obscure, for the most part, obscure movies that people either haven't seen or typically aren't even that good?
This is a good question. And I think my answer is, my gut is, is COVID have something to do with this? Is because people were at home the last 2.5 years that like we got to step up our TV game? Or they're taking advantage of streaming services where these people have like, I mean, shit, what was the budget for Stranger Things this season?
Through the roof.
Through the roof, right? So now people are dumping money into TV shows. Look at Marvel, what Marvel's doing. Like we're going to talk about in a minute.
Yeah,
right?
maybe maybe just that there's better TV shows now.
There's better TV shows because now people don't go to the movies as much anymore.
Maybe, but I even think you can go back in like more recent, even pre-COVID, where the list of nominees for Best Picture, I would, before the season comes out, I would have seen like 3 out of 10. And I'm somebody that sees a shitload of movies.
And
whereas
let me tell
shows, I see all these shows and I'm like, my taste isn't all that different. It's in fact, they're quite the same because I'm the same person.
Right. I also think that the Academy is so far up their own ass.
Yes.
That they, like anything that Daniel Day-Lewis is in is going to get nominated for Best Picture.
Yeah.
Anything Meryl Streep is in is going to get nominated for Best Picture.
That's true.
Like, that's just the way they roll. Like, and again, like, I have no, what was that movie that came out, The Phantom Thread?
Yeah,
I
baby.
have zero interest in that type of movie. And it's not that, like, I think I'm clearly not.
I'm above it.
Better than those, because, those are so highfalutin, like, artsy movies that, like, it's beneath, I'm beneath those movies, and I'm fine with that. Because here I am talking to you. What?
But like, we should pivot, like, because we always, I for some reason, I'm like, oh, the Oscars, and I always end up watching the Oscars, and short of a famous actor slapping a famous comedian, we wouldn't have been talking about the Oscars much more this past year. Maybe we need to point all of our attention to the Emmys, because the Emmys are actually shows and actors that we actually care about and watch and like. So. And
that's the thing. Are the Oscars, is it just me, or is the Oscars like just so stuffy?
Super stuffy. Yeah. I think a lot of these award shows are, but the Oscars in particular are kind of next level.
Yeah.
Heart sniffing. Something that won't get nominated for an Oscar is the Boys spin-off series called Gen V. They had like a little teaser that we tweeted out, and it's basically just like all the characters talking about joining the Boys, but it's basically college-aged soups trying to fight for the right to get on the right team, because that's the other thing I think they're going to expand in this show, and maybe even in season 4, is that the 7 aren't the only team out there. So all these other guys and it's gonna be just the same type of humor and violence and all that stuff. Yeah,
I just imagine like the cutthroat world of like superhero internships, like summer internships. If I'm in college, like I have to intern at at Vought, or I have to intern at somewhere. You know what I mean? Yeah. I think that's a brilliant idea.
Pretty good,
because you think of like the hormones and the excess that college kids all have to deal with, and being able to do whatever they want is
Yeah.
a pretty brilliant idea. And I
Uh-huh.
am looking forward to this program.
This show will probably
Yeah.
be pretty good.
If people are crawling into each other's dick holes and exploding, I'm in.
I mean, they set the bar pretty high, so
Mhm.
we'll see if they get if they reach those heights. How about this rumor out there? Jason Segel as Ben Grimm, the Thing in Fantastic Four. What do you think of that? It's a rumor.
I've heard a lot of these rumors. We were talking about these rumors in our text chain today, and there's a lot of these rumors going around. I don't know how I feel about that, but he can't be any worse than what's his name, Jamie.
King.
No, Jamie King, not
Jamie
the Jamie
King's-
King, Jamie.
Jamie King's a nice lady. Yeah,
in
and
Fan Four Stick.
Fan Four Stick. I want to get
He
there.
was in
Jamie Bell.
Jamie Bell.
Jamie
Yeah, he's married to
Bell.
Kate Mara or something. No, is he married to Kate Mara now?
He
He is.
is married to Kate Mara now. He was married to Evan Rachel Wood.
How about that guy?
So she was with him, I believe, when she first started going out with Marilyn Manson. And then after that disaster, horrible documentary. Well, good documentary, horrible story.
Yeah.
And she then I think got back with him. I think she has a kid with Jamie Bell, but now Bell's with Kate Mara, who they must have met on Fan Four Stick. So maybe it wasn't all bad.
Maybe it wasn't all bad, but good Lord, was that movie shit. And I'm like, so he can't do any worse than him, right?
No.
So I guess
Like
I mean,
Michael Chiklis was a little like
see, but the thing is like Ben, that's what Ben Grimm looks like.
yeah.
So I don't know how Siegel's gonna fit into that.
He's kind of too tall.
He's very tall.
Siegel's a tall guy.
Yeah. And Grimm's like literally a brick shit house. Like he's 5,
Made
6
a
feet
rock.
tall, and yeah,
made a rock.
I don't know.
There was a trailer for the Orphan prequel called Orphan First Kill. Good news for horror fans out there. This will be in theaters, but also free on Paramount Plus on August 19th.
Do we need this?
We don't.
We don't need this, right?
I thought the first one was like fine. I had no problem.
But it was one of those things that like I sniffed it out right away.
Of course. That's a super old lady.
That's just like one of those, and it has like she has like some disease. It's not really a kid.
Just a real old lady.
Yeah.
She's probably gonna kill somebody. So yeah, but I'll watch it. I've been stacking up horror movies, trying to watch as many horror movies this year. Maybe we can unpack some of them in Dorktober. There've been a few good ones. Scream, X, Black Phone. Been a few good ones.
That's pretty good. That's pretty
I
good.
don't think you can be too bad with those ones, can you?
Yeah, I've realized my voice is going up right now, like way more than it should.
It's fine.
I don't know.
Summer. It's a summer.
Talk to me about the next bullet point here.
Well, this is another trailer. This is I don't know if you want to call this horror or comedy or just great filmmaking. We got the full trailer for Rob Zombie's The Munsters.
What the fuck is this?
Well,
what the fuck is this? This looks like what my wife nailed it. It looks like a Disney Channel original.
Last week, I saw a film. As I recall, it was a horror film.
Yeah, it wasn't a great trailer. It wasn't put together very well.
No, it looks like shit. Like you can see the ragged edges around everything. It looks awful.
It's pretty bad.
Now, there's one thing that's like, okay, it's campy. Fine.
Yeah.
If you want to do like the nyucks and the weird, like when someone falls down, like that's one thing. Yeah. But it looks like shit.
It looks like a pile of shit. And not only that, but if we're like, and I love Rob Zombie. I love his music. I love several of his movies.
We even love his brother's music, P-Man 5K.
Absolutely. Just down the way, Haverhill here. So the big, so it's just, we give Zack Snyder a lot of credit for cutting really good trailers. This is the opposite of that. This is, you just gave you gave like an intern, you're like, hey, you have a computer, right? Take a bunch of scenes, throw it together, and make a trailer for us. He's like, yeah, can do. He's like, oh, and I need it in 10 minutes. Fine. It was bizarre. I was like,
Yeah, and again, like I've edited video for 25 years, right? Mm-hmm. All you need to do with this kind of trailer, like make it black and white, make it grainy, so it doesn't look as shitty.
It looks pretty shitty.
It looked like a Disney Channel original movie that they play on like a Wednesday night. Like that looks like shit.
Yeah, I'm not going to pay actual money for this, so we'll see how it does. What is your guess?
Who paid actual money for this?
Zombie. Maybe.
Like, is he paying for it himself? Because that's the only thing that makes sense to me.
No, somebody else must have dipped in. The Munsters. Maybe the Munsters are back.
Ugh.
People like the Munsters. Did you like the Munsters?
No,
Like, everybody
I didn't even like the show when it like.
No, I don't.
It was the GoBots of the Addams family. It was like to the, you know what I mean? Like GoBots
yeah.
to the Transformers. Like the Munsters were like, why don't you just watch the Addams family? It's way better.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I'm not interested in this. It looks like it might kind of be a prequel for it, which again, nobody's asking.
We all know how he's done with prequels, right?
Nobody's demanding it.
Jesus Christ, who wanted this? Is his wife like, can you put me in a movie, please? His wife is like nagging him for like 5 years to put her in another movie.
Talking about Sherry Moon?
Yeah.
Sherry Moon zombie?
Yeah. Who's
I
like,
like her stuff.
It's supposed to be like a prequel to like Herman and what's her
Dude, I don't know a lot about the Munsters. And I don't
it's Herman, Herman Munster, and I forget her name, but like
Eddie Munster.
Eddie Munster is the son, right?
Got it.
Anybody with a widow's peak and dark hair when you're grown up was Eddie Munster.
Yeah.
Right, Eddie Munster.
Yeah, right. Yeah, take it easy, Eddie Munster.
Yeah. It's supposed to be a prequel of them like falling in love when they're young, and she's like 50 in her 50s. Like, what are we doing?
She looks younger than that, though. She
does, but
yeah.
I don't know, man. 0 out of 6.
All right, my prediction. No. What is your prediction for the critic Rotten Tomatoes score?
8%.
Yeah, it's under 10.
Single digits. I'll give it single digits. How old is Sherry Moon?
Sherry Moon zombie?
Let me see how old she is.
You're probably right. 50 years old.
51 years old.
51. Yeah.
Yeah.
Price is right. Would have nailed it.
Yep.
All right, Ryan. Time now for our email of the episode. We need like a snappy intro for email of the episode.
Sure do.
You got mail. That
you just download that. You've got mail.
Here goes our snappy intro for
I like to take old biddies and bunch and mock.
not at all.
I love how every time you push a button by accident, it's that one.
Sweetie,
Yeah, honey?
the horse you're on has a huge penis.
Well, anyway, time for our email of the episode. This one comes in from Nathan. He says, "Hi, did you guys play beer pong? Do you still play beer pong? Are there a standard set of rules you play with? Any trash rules you hate? Any good beer pong stories? Nicest table you ever played on? I know you can't watch everything, but it's time to give Peaky Blinders a go. Thanks, Nathan."
So here's the thing that has always annoyed me about beer pong, right? These are two different games. So when you refer to beer pong,
Here we go.
right, well, am I wrong?
The fucking paddles.
It's the one with it's the ping pong paddles with no handle, right? And you try to hit the ball. Like they play it in Beer Fest. Like it's a legitimate game.
Hold on. This is my favorite. Hold on. Her sister was a witch, right? And what was her sister? A princess. The Wicked Witch of the East, bro. I'm gonna stab him. You're gonna look at me and you're gonna tell me that I'm wrong? Am I wrong? It's my favorite. She wore a crown and she came down in a ball. I'm not fighting with you. Grow up, bro. Grow up. Get educated, but.
So I see them as two different games. So beer pong is played with paddles. Beirut is the one where you throw the balls into a pier. You're looking at you're motherfucking me, but you know I'm right.
I'm not motherfucking you. I think you're right. To me it's semantics because I think most people we in college never played fucking paddle pong ever.
I did.
No, I'm saying we mean like me.
Oh yeah, because you were in New York.
I'm not speaking for you. I'm saying up in beautiful Hobart. I don't remember ever having paddles. We played all different versions of. We would call it beer pong or Beirut. They're interchangeable, but that's always what we met. But you're right. Like watching Beer Fest, there is. All right, let's bring out the paddles and fucking have the big
beer pong is different. But so what I think I just wanted to clarify because I think what is it Nate?
Nathan. Nathan. Or Nathan.
Nathan is referring to as Beirut. So yes, I have played Beirut before. It was a staple. Let's go. Did you guys play beer pong?
Yes.
Do you still play? No.
Haven't in forever. I miss it. I love it, but
I miss it. It's a great game. Yeah. As it's historically on this podcast, I can't drink beer anymore. So I'm not going to play with like long drinks or Trulies or whatever the fuck. I'm not going to do that, right? Which would be a fun time. Mm-hmm. Don't get me wrong. But are there a standard set of rules that you play with? There is a standard.
Yes.
I play.
You go first.
And it is you get 2 racks, you pick when they are, and obviously you do, if you want to be a gentleman, you can do like shape them up a little bit. Like, so there's no gaps in between. You can do that. But there's 2 racks whenever you want them. That's it. So it's not like you rack on 6 and then 4 and then 3. And
yeah,
then
I love
like,
that. We play the same way. 2 racks anytime and whatever you want. And so
right.
some tables, they're like, when they're down to 3 cups, you could only do a triangle. Whereas we would play anything you want. And we would normally go Maryland Eye. If you play a little college football, the Maryland Eye backfield is 3 straight down the dick.
Yep.
So we would go boom, 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 boom.
So you could also do the 1-2 triangle.
You could do 1-2. You could do the 2-1. You could do whatever you want. We would say Maryland Eye.
The split backfield.
You could do split backs if you want.
Yep.
You could do the flex bone if you really wanted to get a little slappy with it. One of the rules I really liked. This came into play because some tables that you played at, you couldn't shoot until you finished the beer.
Right.
Others, especially if you were playing and you were winning, you would just sort of take it and somebody made, like, say they made 3 in a row. You would just pour it into one.
Yeah.
If you ever hit a shot in somebody's called like their sidecar,
yep,
game over.
That's right. I love that rule. I love if you hit it in the cup that someone's holding, the game's over. I love that rule.
Mm-hmm.
And that's there are some trash rules that you can rack whenever you want. Like that's you can't rack whenever you want. I hate the rule that if you shoot and the ball comes back to you, you keep it.
Oh yeah, no, that's dumb.
If it comes back like halfway across the table, you can pick it up and grab it and shoot it again.
Right.
I do play pull. So when you pull, right? So when someone hits a cup, you pull it.
Yes, but I also like you pull it, but if you
hit the same cup, the game's over.
Yeah.
So I like that. I don't like that. And obviously the standard rule is like if you both hit a cup, you get them back.
Yep, you both get them back. If you both hit the same cup in some games, it's just 3 cups.
And the people keep.
If there's not pull, right? If it's not pull, 2 in the same cup is whatever.
But I like to play pull because I like to be able to hit the sidecar and hit the same cup. I do like that.
I also like rebuttal. I like rebuttal at the end. However, if it's down to 1 cup and you and me are on a team and we both hit it in the 1 cup, rebuttal is now out.
Yes.
Because in that
ends it.
But if only I hit it, they both get a shot to keep going.
And you shoot till you miss.
Yes.
Yeah. The only thing I would say too is never stack cups. That's the one thing my biggest pet peeve in playing that game is when people stack all the cups on top of each other and they get all shitty. Yes. Don't stack the cups.
That is terrible. I agree with that. You don't stack the cups. Yeah, don't be a jackass about it. I also
talk about this. This is an interesting topic because we can talk drinking games. It's a summer podcast. Next week, we kind of got like a soft
drinking games
topic. We can talk drinking games.
Drinking games. I love it. Sponsored by somebody, some beer company.
Sponsored by somebody or Long Drink. Long Drink. You out there, Tuca's listening.
Probably.
Right. Okay.
You know, you're his biggest fan. So
I am his biggest fan. He should be listening to my podcast. He should be my fan now. He's not doing anything.
You know what rule I liked a lot?
What's that?
Now, we didn't always play this. I wouldn't call this a house rule my senior year, but we definitely play this occasionally. NBA Jam.
Yes.
There's you individually. So even if your teammate sucks, but if individually you hit 3 shots in a row in the game, you are now on fire and you get to shoot till you miss.
Correct.
Fucking great rule.
And you'd have to say that prior to, I would say the first game of the night. You could be like, we're doing NBA Jam rules. If you hit 3 cups in a row, you're on fire and you shoot till you miss.
Yeah. Where do you stand on bounce? Where bounce is legal?
Bounces are legal. They're 2 cups.
2 cups, but you can defend a bounce.
You can, as soon as it hits the table, you can, but if you hit one of your own cups and not that counts.
First of all, you're a jackass. Second of all, that cups out. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I guess this is sort of a good beer pong story, but it may also be a bad beer pong story. So we were playing super competitive. It was me and my buddy Bales versus two of the ladies. Nothing happened with the ladies. Actually, maybe with Bales, but not the point. And we were playing very competitive games. It was very heated, back and forth. And we lost one at the end. And the girl comes over to me and she's like, because you know how you're supposed to finish your beers. Mm-hmm. So she comes over and I was just so pissed that I like walked away from the table. She came over and she's like, "Oh, you you didn't finish your beer." So she handed me the cup and I looked at her, I grabbed it and I pounded it in her face. It was the shit water cup with the fucking ball hair in it and all that shit. And I was so mad. But like as I was drinking it, she was like, she thought I would sniff it out and like thought it was gonna be a joke. Like she didn't mean for me to drink it, but she was like, her eyes get all big and I'm like, all I felt was kind of like warm water, and I just kept slamming. I looked down, it's like the hair from the floor and the dust and shit, and I was like, I was like, what the fuck? She's like, I didn't think you were really gonna drink it. I didn't think you were gonna drink it.
$100, I would have done it.
Yeah. Oh, I don't know. Johnny Hundo over here. No
So I
kidding.
got two good Beirut stories. One is they were playing again. There is such a thing. I've seen it called. Look at that, Bissell Brothers. That's nice.
Yep.
I have seen full contact Beirut. I've seen it at Southern New Hampshire University. I did not get down with it, but I did see. I did see. So that's when the ball goes off the table. It's a free for all. Like whoever picks it up, it's their ball, right?
Yeah, I don't like it.
I saw my friend Little Greg, who is, or Mr. Greg as we called him, he is 5'6", 5'7", 160.
Yep.
Some kid form tackled him and put him through a wall. Like the drywall that separated the kitchen from the living room, they put him through the wall.
Not worth it.
So I was like, I'm not doing this. I'm not playing this game.
No.
The best shot I ever hit, it was in a rebuttal, and I put the ball in my mouth, closed my eyes, and spit it up in the air, and it went in.
Is that legal? That's allowed at that table?
I don't know, but someone was like, we're done here, because I just like spit it out of my mouth. It went like 8 feet in the air, just right in.
His mouth, I'm out.
And closed my eyes. I swore right then and there that I would never play that game again, and I wound up playing like 20 minutes later.
Of course.
And sucked.
Could have been a walk-off.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, good question, though, Nathan. We're very passionate about that. It is a game.
We went a little while on that.
It's a younger man's game, for sure.
Yeah, we're too old for that now.
Also want to answer another question in the chat from our guy, Mac. Notice the jersey. It is not a Kevin Love jersey. This is even more old school. This is a Jason Capono UCLA jersey.
Who is that?
Not a lot of people have a Jason Capono jersey. He was a marksman. He wore the headband. He was like a 4-year player at UCLA. He just drilled threes. He played in the NBA for a little bit. Anyway,
had a cup of coffee in the show.
Yeah, no big deal.
Yeah,
here we go. Well, it's time now for Should I Have Bought This? And similar to the email of the episode, you just send us an email, dorkpodcast@gmail.com, with an item that you bought, $25 minimum, and Davey and I will answer should you have bought it. Also send us a picture and a brief description. So this one comes in from Matt. He says, hey boys, every new Patriot season, I purchase a new Pats t-shirt, and that becomes my, quote, game day shirt for the season.
47brand.com.
You better believe it, Ryan.
Oh, look at those.
He says it's just a small tradition I've been doing as far back as I can remember. The past season, I got one of 47 brands, vintage tubular tees, and it ended up being one of my favorites. When I find something I really like to wear, I tend to go a bit overboard and buy every color pattern. So this ended up being no exception. I now have 11 of these t-shirts in various Boston sports styles. Some were marked down. I always use the hashtag Dork promo code, which of course is hashtag Dork, for 25% off your entire order. This cost me about blank. Sounds like a lot, but some were gifts. They weren't all purchased at once. They're all super high quality. They also look good on an old dad bod, father of 2 girls here as well. P.S. Size up if you're going to buy one. They run a little small.
They do actually run a little tight.
Yeah, so he goes, go a size up on these. He says, I also missed the Patriots-Falcons Super Bowl shirt, a big regret for me. But as you can see in front of us, Ryan, how many shirts and what are we looking at?
So he's got 11 shirts, and I think I know how much these cost. So if he bought 11 of them, out the door, pre-promo code, that's over $400.
Yeah. So
and with the promo code, you take 25% off of that, which then becomes $90? No. Around $90.
25%, 100.
Okay, $100 off of that. So he spent
300.
$300 on these?
That's right.
$300.
Yeah. But look at that. You got a Boston Red Sox All-Star.
So these are, I will say though, these are sick. I would buy one of, I know these shirts are like $40, but with the promo code, it's fine.
With the promo code, you're saving a small fortune.
It's great. But these are sick. I mean, they have like it's almost like a hypercolor like kind of thing to it. I love the one with the bald eagle standing on the bat with the Red Sox.
Yeah.
I love like the super 90s look to them, like the early 90s look to them. I wouldn't buy 11. I would buy one
But he even says he gets something you like and you end up wearing it. I also love how he's got a couple of reds, couple of dark blues. You got a green, you got like a regular blue, a black. Every team too. So no matter what season, you're covered.
Oh yeah, because he's got Red Sox, Bruins, Celtics.
I gotta go. I gotta go thumbs up on this.
I gotta go thumbs up on this as well.
This is how we do it. This is how we do it.
And that's how you play. Should I have?
And by the way, I love the volume here. I love the volume of shirt. 11 shirts is you're a lunatic, and I fucking love it. Like you're the best kind of crazy.
Yep.
I will say though, moving forward, if you buy anything from 47 brand, thumbs up.
Yeah, seriously, it's kind of a no-brainer.
Like I'm not gonna say no, fuck that. You're not gonna buy that. You know?
Kind of a no-brainer. Good stuff. Thank you, Matt. And again, send us your should I have bought this to dorkpodcast@gmail.com.
It's time for Davey's video game minute. Even if it takes more than a minute.
All right, David, what do you have?
Well, I'll keep this short because we're burning Earl here. We spent a little too much time on Beirut, so I'm gonna.
Or not enough.
I upgraded. So I don't know if you know this, but now like PlayStation Plus, there's like 3 levels. There's like the standard one, which everyone gets, and then like the upgraded one, you get like a library, and then the big one, you play stream games, play shitloads of games for free, whatever. Which I should probably do. I spend so much money on fucking games. I should just do that. But anyway. I upgraded to like the middle one. So I'm looking through the library of like all these free games I can play. There's like hundreds of games you can play for free. And I got to tell you, Richard, I have found the perfect game for when you just need a minute.
All right.
And you just don't want anyone to talk to you and you just need to be in your own head. I give you Lawn Mowing Simulator. This game is
I mow the
awesome.
lawn.
But you don't have to work. Like you get on. You're not outside. You're nice you're in the air conditioning, right? You're just sitting there, and it's a British game, believe it or not. So you have like these stately British homes, and you're just having a mow.
Okay.
And you can upgrade your lawnmower. You can like have like a warehouse. You can have employees. It's
all right.
It's fucking great.
Just have a nice mow. Yeah.
Have a nice mow.
I'm gonna go mow the yard. So
you put the blades down. The controller kind of vibrates a little bit when you're going. You know, it's like a nice.
The digital lawn's gonna look better than your actual lawn.
Oh, I got guys for that. I live on a school campus, man. I got guys for that. I don't mow lawns, but it's so maybe that's why I like it so much, just so I don't get to
maybe.
Lawns, but
yeah, could be.
Maybe. Did you see the guy who made Homelander in GTA 5? Just tearing up the city. It was pretty good.
Awesome.
So it was. I was on Twitter today. Someone just made Homelander and like laserizing everybody, like punching tanks, like off the.
Love it.
It's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
If you just imagine like playing as Homelander, they should make like a boys.
game. The boys game. Yeah.
You can pick, or you at different stages you play as different people. I think that'd be a pretty fun game.
Pretty good. And then the deep is just having sex with octopus.
The deep is like the whole level is like you're trying to bang an octopus. Like it's like Leisure Suit Larry, but you're trying to bang an octopus.
Yeah, that'd be a good game. They could.
Anyway. The game I'm looking forward to playing the most, I think, this summer is coming out tomorrow. A game called Stray, which is like you play as a cat who is trying to navigate through this like cyberpunk world. It's like a puzzle-based kind of thing, and you're playing as a cat. Huh. It's getting good reviews.
Okay, all right.
It looks like a nice time.
Okay.
I'm looking forward to playing with it and giving you my review next week.
All right, very good.
And lastly, so if you remember this game Outlast, it was a game where you played as like an investigative reporter going into like an asylum, and you have like your like it's pitch black, but if you bring up your camcorder, it's like green. It's like the Paris Hilton green.
Yeah.
So they're coming out. It's called Outlast Trials. So it's like a series of like mini games. It seems like because they're doing this documentary about the making of this game. And the fucked up thing is it's coming out later this year. I'm guessing it's going to come out around Halloween because they said late 2022.
Yeah.
They're talking with like psychologists and psychiatrists about like what people are afraid of and like how like your character will respond the way a normal human being will respond when frightened by different things.
Oh boy.
Yeah. So if you watch, you can watch it now. They have like these like mini documentaries about how this game is being made. And the fact that they're talking to like pretty knowledgeable people on how fear happens and what happens to you is scaring the shit out of me.
Yeah.
Like I haven't even touched this game yet. I'm already scared shitless of this game.
Yeah. I don't blame you.
So I want to play it on stream just so Dr. Joe can like have to turn it off and like walk away.
Yeah.
Because he is the biggest sweetheart of a guy, but the biggest fraidy cat I think I've ever met in my life.
Oh, I know. And he reads all these horror comics, but he says he has to read them during the day.
During the day.
Respect.
It's like me and like scary stories to tell in the dark. Like I would always have to read those like during the day.
You know your limits. That's fine.
Yeah. But he's a fraidy cat, so I can't wait to play that in front of him. I'm gonna sit him down and make him watch it. Like
Stream it right here on the YouTube.
I could come back. My triumphant return to the stream.
It's always welcome right here.
So that's what I got for the video game minutes. Good enough, right?
All right, Ryan. I got something for you.
I don't care.
Y'all ready for bisque?
Topic du jour time, Ryan. Well, I'm glad you asked. It's the topic of the day.
You didn't ask.
Yeah, I did.
You said topic du jour, baby.
Yeah, but he says, "Are you
You
ready?"
usually say you're ready for the topic du jour. That's usually the lead-in question.
No, the lead-in is, "Are you ready for bisque?" It's my catchphrase. All ready for bisque? Yeah, the catchphrases aren't great.
No, they're not great. We're gonna work on them.
Yeah, they're not
we'll
great.
cut it. We'll cut that. We'll cut it in post.
All right, you ready for the topic du jour?
I'm sorry.
Well, I'm glad you asked. It's the topic of the day. And today it is Ms. Marvel, the Disney Plus MCU series, part of Phase 4 of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. It was 6 episodes, all ranging between 38 and 50 minutes long. We'll begin, as we always do, with our TV and movie reviews, spoiler-free. Ryan, did you like it?
No.
I'm sorry, did you say, no?
No, I didn't.
No. Huh.
How about you? Did you like it?
I liked it. Yeah.
I did.
I liked it less by the end.
That's what I'm saying. Like this show started off hot.
Yeah, it kind of ended poorly. I think the first 4 episodes, it was tracking like strong. Not as good as, Loki or Hawkeye in my mind, or probably WandaVision, but it was at least in the conversation through 4 episodes. I think the last 2 kind of took some of the piss out of it.
Yeah, and it struggled with something that Marvel has done a pretty good job of over the years. And it was non-existent. And we'll get to that when we get to spoilers or whatever. But I was not it seemed like a half-baked idea. Like this idea was good.
Yeah.
And then they didn't know really what to do with it.
Yeah, it was like, I guess this could have been a movie. Like you're thinking it's like 6 episodes, but you're like 6 episodes is kind of long. It was almost like they didn't have enough stuff. Yeah. But I wondered if they were afraid that if they just shot out a movie, it wouldn't sell or something.
But why not just do direct to streaming movie?
Yeah, they haven't done that yet.
They haven't done that yet.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea. There's probably more of that. If you just did a 2-hour movie.
Yeah.
Ms. Marvel, I think you could have had something.
With that budget, you would have had something. If you tightened it up a little bit and improved one thing specifically.
Yeah.
You had something.
The premise, of course, go ahead.
Yeah, so the premise, of course, is, is what it is. But I feel like Ms. Marvel herself did a wonderful job.
Kamala Khan, I liked her. I liked her. I thought she was really good.
And what's the Iman? I forget the girl's name. I forget who plays her.
It is Iman Vellani.
She's great.
Yeah, she's very good.
Very charming.
I'm looking forward to her coming back in the Marvels and however any more time. They did a good job casting that. Good origin story, the whole thing. So Kamala Khan, 16-year-old fangirl of the Avengers, particularly Captain Marvel, struggles to fit in until she gains her own powers. So you know me, Ryan. I love a high school setting, whether it is Beverly Hills 90210, Saved by the Bell, Riverdale, Euphoria. Give me Friday Night Lights. Give me a high school setting. I think it's a good place to start. And Ms. Marvel does that. And the only other thing you can really compare it to in the MCU is some of the Spider-Man stuff. Right? They kind of rip from that at times, sort of who her friends are, what it's like for her to be a high school student, that whole thing. What did you know about Ms. Marvel prior to this series?
So I have the book right here. I read, so I knew enough, and I kind of knew like a little bit of the source material. and how they were going to present this character.
Yeah.
Hang on, you talk. Hang on one second. Get it.
All right, I will talk. She was also in the video game too, that Avengers video game that was out there a little bit too. I thought the origin story was solid, a little cookie cutter, but still I thought it was good overall. But I've not personally read a lot of Ms. Marvel. I don't know a ton about her.
So I read
that
this,
book.
the
I've
G,
seen
the
that one.
G Willow Wilson one. So this is
Yeah,
kind
yeah.
of where they like pulled a lot of that stuff
Yes.
from.
Yep.
So this is what I was expecting.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
How different was it?
A lot.
Yeah.
A lot.
Yeah.
And there was one thing that like happens in here. Like I'm just flipping to the page right now where I'm just going to hold it
Go
up.
ahead, look at this. We're getting a little up close. Oh, there she is.
There she is. So like that is one of the things that I was disappointed in. Is I feel like that relationship between those two characters. I already fucking showed it. Like she is a huge fan of Captain Marvel.
Yeah.
I thought, and this is a little spoil.
Save it.
Captain Marvel. Oh yeah, was going to show up.
Save it. Yeah. So, did you think the show was funny? You think there was a lot of good comedy?
At times.
There's like some chuckles. Like it's not laugh out loud. Charming. Yes. Again, first 3 episodes delightful. I thought I'm like, oh, look at this. Sort of a different to it. And like the last thing that we saw was Moon Knight. So very different than that. Very different than Loki. So I'm like, it's kind of cool. I like when the MCU throws different kind of genres within the genre at you. So I'm on board for that. But then it just kind of hit a little bit of a lull. Some of the things that they tried to do, they like, I don't know if they overcomplicated it or what. I started to lose interest. Like I feel like I didn't check my phone the first 4 episodes, and then the second 2, I'm like, all right.
And what they started to dip into, which I was on board with, was how would a teenage superhero exist with this social media generation? Like how could you keep your identity secret when people know who you are? People can find your every move. Like everything you do is online. Your whole life is online. Like how would you do that? And they started to go that way and then rip the rug out and went a completely different direction.
Yeah, and one of the characters even is a classmate who's like famous because she has a ton of Instagram followers kind of thing. All right, would you call this a must watch?
No.
Yeah, you probably don't need it.
I would say not yet.
Now again, when you see Marvels coming out next year and Kamala Khan is in it and you want more info, then there's this show, but you probably don't really need it. And it'll be interesting to see how much like intro they give her in the movie, or if they just assume everybody saw every second of the show.
Well, the issue I have too is like the origin story that they gave her, I could tell you that in 30 seconds.
It's quick. Yep. Yeah, you didn't need
2
hours of it.
2 episodes devoted to that. Like an hour and a half of that. Like I got it.
Yeah.
Like 2 45-minute episodes. Like I got it. And by the way, deceptive, as you pointed out last week, they did this thing now where the credits are like 10 minutes long. So it looks like it's a 50-minute episode, but it's only 35 minutes.
It never is. All of Disney Plus, whether between Obi-Wan Kenobi and Moon Knight, all of them, you're like, all right, I got a pencil 45 minutes. You're like, no, I don't. You're like, I need a good half hour. I can watch this whole thing. There is an end credit scene in episode 6, the final episode. So fast forward through that if you haven't watched this yet. All right, this is the 7th Disney Plus MCU show. The order of the shows was WandaVision, The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, Loki, What If, Hawkeye, and Moon Knight. Where would you place Ms. Marvel in that group?
Before What If and Falcon and Winter Soldier, but right there. Like towards the bottom, but not the bottom.
So I like it a little bit more than you. I have it back and forth with Moon Knight. I think it's a similar score to Moon Knight. Because I saw this more recently, I might like it a little bit more than Moon Knight. I think you have a pretty clear-cut top 3, though, with Hawkeye, Loki, WandaVision, and you can really put those in any order you want. That's probably my order, but again, if your order is the opposite, fine. Like those 3 are really good. I think Moon Knight and Ms. Marvel are kind of more middling, and then the other 2 to me just weren't my cup of tea.
Yeah.
Let's see. Dork score for Ms. Marvel. 3. I'm gonna go 4. I'm going to go kind of like a tepid 4 on that because I think I liked enough of it. And I think it was, again, tracking as maybe a 4.5, maybe 5. Like I liked it. I thought it was It was different. It was obviously very pleasant. It was not. It was the opposite of dark. In fact, it was quite light, as the night bright lady. But then you're right. They got kind of like kind of clunky at the end and kind of shitty and whatever else. But again, out of 6 total episodes, I liked more of it than I disliked. So I'll go 4. Dave will go 3. Hit us up in the chat. What do you guys think? What your score was? You can also tweet us at Dork Podcast. Hit us up on Instagram as well. Your score for Ms. Marvel. Anything else non-spoiler on this program?
No.
All right, let's get right into this.
Spoilers! 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 Here come the spoilers!
All right, hit me up first with what was the thing that you were talking about that they did terribly that Marvel normally does well?
There's no villain,
Well, kinda.
but not really. Like, who's the villain? Who is the main villain in this show?
What's the lady that was trying to steal her?
But she's only in there for like 2, 3, half the episodes.
She's
You know what I
trying to-
mean?
Trying to steal it.
Yeah, but like that was over pretty quickly. And then the DODC lady, who was like just, first of all, fucking horrible at her job. Second,
Terrible.
a fucking horrible actress. And 3,
Terrible.
like,
Yeah, she was not
why?
great.
Like why? Like why introduce?
Damage control is not exactly a villain.
No,
Right? Can't be.
but they try to make them villains, and like there's the one. They're the guy and the girl, and like I don't even know their fucking names. Like that's how bad like they were as villains. Yeah. There's the girl and the guy, and they're like on the phone with each other the whole time. And the guy's like, "You need to do this," and the girl's like, "No, I'm gonna do it my way," you know. And then he's like, "You're fired." And then her last line in the whole episode is, we have to leave, team."
Yep.
There was something stupid like that, and you're like,
left.
"Wait, that's it?"
They're never coming clear.
Like, what about the kids you have locked up in the back of a fucking van? You gonna let them go? Like, you know what I mean? Like, there was like the red daggers, and then there was the clandestines, and like,
well, that's what was confusing. It was like, so Cameron's mother, I guess, right, was sort of like the main villain because she wanted to take her power so they could go back to their home planet, type of thing.
yeah,
And they're like, and then she sacrificed herself and then gives him the power, but he's not even full villain at that point.
no,
And just kind of like running around, and the power sucks. This power shit. He's like,
and his power sucks, and like there was this whole thing where he was walking around like he was hurt,
yeah, he's limp. He had a good limp,
but then he
going.
wasn't.
He could-
Like it was dumb. They seemed messy. Like like I said, it seemed like the first 3 episodes, like, all right, we have a good idea of like where this is gonna go.
I was setting up well, and then it was like, where we're going,
and then it was just like, nah, fuck it. Like, let's do a whole episode in Pakistan in the 40s.
that killed me. The episode was that episode 5 or
Yeah.
no, that was 5, right? I was just like, I don't care about this right now. Like, you're kind of losing me.
Yeah,
I thought the real strengths of the show, like you said, were Kamala Khan and her friend Bruno, like the man in the chair, guy in the chair, whatever you want to call it. Every superhero has to have a nerd friend that can do computer stuff and do gadgets. And this guy's great. Like, I love Bruno. I want to see more Bruno.
yeah.
Bruno's
Great because he's the smart one, so he's kind of explaining things. And by the way, they just casually drop this enormous thing. They say it for the first time in Ms. Marvel.
Yeah, episode 6, right at the end.
Right.
Bruno.
And they're like, oh yeah, it has nothing to do with the bangle. It's you. And they say the word, we're in spoilers, right?
Yes.
So they say the word mutation, like it's a mutation.
And then did you hear the
It's
X-Men?
like, I don't want to,
97
that's just another
X-Men 97
label.
team played. If you go back to that scene, it's really quiet. And he says there's a mutation, and she looks at him, and then you hear
Because I must have been too focused on like what because she was saying it's just another label,
Yeah.
it's just another thing. Like
it's really kind of faint. You gotta like listen for it
and
and
go back and listen to that.
I'm like, oh, and then they kind of go away. So they do. So she is a mutant. Because he was doing all kinds of research on her and like what's going on. Like, is it her power? Is it the bangle that gets it out of her? But she's very different. Like, her DNA apparently is very different than the rest of her family. So she's a mutant.
But we also know that mutations can skip generations. They don't.
Oh yeah. Oh, for sure.
Yeah, we've seen that in X-Men before. So now mutants are here. Here they are.
Mutants.
And she's your first one, which doesn't really vibe with the whole character of Miss Marvel. And they changed her powers around a little bit to have it make sense.
Yeah, what are her powers? Just like these, like
So,
for like little energy projections, or what is
well,
that?
she doesn't do that in the comic. So she's like basically like Mr. Fantastic, but can make herself big and
So she
stretch.
finally does that at the end. She gets big.
She does the embiggen, yeah.
Yep. Yeah,
But
yeah.
there's no energy projection or anything like that. It's just her. So it's
She's
just
running on like tiles. Like, what was that?
Yeah, I didn't like that at all.
But she does like the big Mr. Fantastic. She can do like a big
Yes.
fist, and she can grab people and pick them up and slam them if she wants.
But she's also like very stretchy and can do like those things. But they did it in like a weird way.
Yeah, it was a little weird. I do like the idea of a character now being a big fan of the Avengers. And like, because again, if this was in your world, you would have a lot of people that were obsessed with them. And then for one of them to become one.
Right.
I'm good with that.
In the comic, she runs into the Inhumans. Like she runs into Medusa and Lockjaw and Captain America and Wolverine and Captain Marvel. Like these people know her and they kind of help her. And there was none of that. So that was the other thing I was going to say too, that I needed a Captain Marvel relationship because she's a huge Captain Marvel fan, right?
Oh yeah, they talk about her all the time, and she cosplayed as her. She's got all the posters on the wall, and then you finally get it in the end credit scene.
But they're not together. You know what I mean? There's not.
No, she like took her place.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, Carol Danvers is in her room, like so her bangle like lit up, and she looks at it, and then all of a sudden, Carol Danvers pops in and is in her room and is looking around like, where the fuck am I now?
Right.
She doesn't say that, but that's kind of what was going through her mind.
Kind of what's implied, right? So,
yeah.
And is it going to be that they're just going to like switch places? Like they're going to like be constantly like moving through the cosmos together and like
Freaky Friday situation, maybe.
I guess, but.
Yeah, so that was the big thing in episode 6 was you get the mutant and then the Carol Danvers part in it. But again, I thought there were some good scenes, like her working on her powers with Bruno was very every Spider-Man movie, like every Spider-Man origin story involves him on rooftops trying to figure out what his power is. I'm like, I like that. I'm good with that.
It is good. And it's nice to watch them figure it out and fail as teenagers are wont to do, as they try to do things that they're pushing the boundaries with their parents, sneaking out.
Which I would say I like their parents. I thought both the parents were also charming, for lack of a better word.
Yes.
One odd thing about the parents, though, is I felt like they went from like, hey, don't leave the house to, oh my God, you're a superhero very quickly.
Very quickly. And and they were like so anti they were so
there.
Yeah, and they were so anti superhero prior to that. Like when she was talking to them about going to AvengerCon. And by the way, if my dad wanted to come as the Hulk, like I would have let him, like, let's go, man. Like you're into this. I appreciate you. Like, let's go.
Yeah. I think you reach a certain age. There's going to be like a small window for people, I guess. Like, I don't ever remember being like embarrassed by my family. Like, I'd be like, if they wanted to come to AvengerCon, they would have looked at me and be like, I don't want to go. But if they wanted to, be like, great, the more the merrier.
Like, awesome.
It was a weird thing.
I would have gone to AvengerCon.
Yeah, you would have?
Yeah, I think so.
What if
we've been to worse?
We have. Now, do you think AvengerCon? Oh, here's a good question for you. Of the MCU that we know, which Avenger would most likely be at AvengerCon?
Ant-Man?
I think, yeah, because he's another one that was kind of a fan himself, right?
And,
he's a fan of Captain America.
Korg?
Korg would probably go.
Yeah.
Trying to think who else would. Well, the Guardians probably like Peter Quill would if he like knew about.
If he knew what the Avengers
here.
were, like he'd be like, okay, cool.
Yeah. Would you like War Machine?
Spider-Man now that nobody knows who he is.
That's where he just kind of blend
He's
in.
right across the river.
I can see Don Cheadle going, just being like, "Hey, you guys want my autograph?" And everyone's like,
"No."
Tony Stark
when Bucky Dent asked us for his autograph, if we wanted his autograph, and we're like, "No."
No,
true
thanks.
story, by the way. That's a good story.
That is
we
a
went
good
to Bucky
story.
Dent's baseball school, and he came over to a table of us kids from Massachusetts. He said, "Do you guys want me to sign some balls for you?" And we looked at him straight in the eye and said, "No."
No.
And he goes, "Where are you guys from?" We're like, "New England." He's like, "That makes sense," and walked away.
Like, fair enough.
Yeah.
Now I'm not that upset. I get it.
Yeah.
One scene that you knew something was up with Cameron early on, because he was like the new kid in town there.
Yeah.
And he was paying a lot of attention to Kamala and not her friend Nakia, who, let's face it, he would have been paying much more attention to her.
She is, yes.
She's
Quite
quite
pretty girl.
fair. Yeah. So there's that.
Yeah, and him like stealing cars, like he has like this, like
Yeah. But like, I don't, out of this show, again, the title character is great. So that's probably why I have it ranked kind of high. But because you want to see more of her, you want to see more of Bruno, like that. Those are characters you want to move on from. Anybody that she kind of like battled at all, like forget it. I don't want that. I don't want that story. I don't want that anymore. I'm ready to move on from it. Although the damage control thing, there might be a little bit more meat on the bone. And the one dude, Agent Cleary, who was also in Spider-Man No Way Home, he's actually in Succession too. He's in a bunch of episodes of Succession. But I wonder if they kind of damage control right now just looks like a bunch of like putzes. So like they need to do something there to make them a little bit more, I don't know, like not intimidating is not the right word, but like legitimate. Like they need to do something else.
And the whole thing with like they laid it on pretty thick, and I'm aware that Kamala Khan is a Muslim superhero and that it's a huge part of her identity. But the Islamophobic stuff, they laid it on pretty thick at the end, where they were going through the damage controls, going through the mosque, and like everyone held up their ID.
Yes.
And they're like, "This isn't our first time." Or one of the characters said like, this is a mosque in America. Like they've probably been watching us for.
Oh right,
whatever.
like they probably have
started like
the whole time.
They made the point and then kept making the point.
Yeah, it's kind of like in The Boys where they would sort of point something out to you.
And I know, like, again, it takes you out of it. It takes you out of the fantasy. And I understand that everything needs to have a point. Now, everything needs to be connected to what we are currently going through. And I understand the need for that. But having to explain that to my 8-year-old who's watching that.
Yeah, right.
Back in 2001. There was a thing called the Patriot Act, and let me start walking you through this. You know what I mean? I didn't want to have that conversation.
No, I get it. That is true. Now, I mean, very obviously, it's great that the MCU is far more diverse than it was before. Like that.
Oh, it's great. I mean,
I know you're not saying that. I'm
That's
just
not
saying,
what I'm saying. Yeah.
It's one of those things. There's certain subjects that like, all right, we are going to talk about them. But you're right. Now you're also looking at the audience, and especially this show really speaks to little kids. Like this is way more of a family friendly show than some of the other ones. So but I think we're gonna be seeing a lot of her. And again, the Marvels comes out July 28th of next year, so we're just about a year away from the Marvels. We'll see how that goes. I'm like on that as far as
but you're gonna get Rambo, Danvers, and Khan in the same movie, right? That's the premise. Yeah.
Oh, Danvers is great. I mean, Brie Larson's
amazing. She is amazing.
She's pretty great. Do you want a season 2 of Ms. Marvel?
Nope.
Just toss her in the movies.
Just put her in the movies. Like she's now again. I like the scaling back of some of these characters. Like she's gonna have to run into. She's in Jersey City, which is right across the river, so she's gonna have to run into somebody at some point. So
who I wonder if she'll run into is the next Disney Plus series, which comes out August 17th. She-Hulk, Attorney at Law.
Does that take place in New York? It does, right?
I believe so. Yeah,
because Matt Murdock is in it, right?
Yeah, like Matt Murdock or Jessica Jones could pop up potentially.
I know Jessica Jones is in it, and I believe Foggy Nelson.
Which is weird. Oh no, Daredevil and Kingpin are definitely going to be in Echo. Yes. Whereas Jessica Jones is going to be in this, Abomination is going to be in this, Hulk's going to be in this. Do you think She-Hulk will be better or worse than Ms. Marvel?
It looks worse.
I think it's going to be worse.
See, this is the thing. Like they're doing like if this show were a Marvel show. So like if like you said, like some teen drama was a Marvel show, it would be Ms. Marvel. Mm-hmm. And this is like. From the premise I've read that like it's She-Hulk trying to date. So it's like a
Austin Legal.
Yeah, it's like or an Ally McBeal, but like it's set in the Marvel universe. You know what I mean? So I don't know if I like that.
Yeah, I don't know if we're gonna. Well, especially if it looks shitty. Like it's kind of not the character or the actress's fault if it looks so bad. Just talk about taking you out of it. You're like, ugh, like what's wrong with it? Why is it so wonky?
And if you've seen Orphan Black, like Tatiana Maslany's awesome.
Yeah,
in that, so she can act.
So you know what?
I don't know if she can act
doing this
through that.
Yeah, it's tough. My kind of concern is too now a little bit of a working concern. Jessica Jones and Daredevil are two of the best characters like in the Marvel 20 years that they've put out there. Again, I don't know where they would rank, but they're both really, really high. And you're just gonna toss them into two shows that may not be very good. That kind of stinks. It's like Jessica Jones, who more of a niche audience watched the Netflix Jessica Jones. And then if she's in She-Hulk, I don't know. Maybe she can save it. Maybe she'll steal it. I don't know. And then same with Daredevil. Like that Echo show could easily go one of two ways. And then if you kind of waste Matt Murdock,
I think Echo's going to be badass.
You do?
I think Echo's going to be good. And I am cautiously optimistic that Jessica Jones will be used by the cast to like go and find people or do some work for the lawyers and say like, this is someone, we got somebody who can do this for you. If you're looking for somebody who needs to,
Well, next week we could do Jessica Jones season 3 if you want.
Oh, we could do that. We should probably do drinking games though. It's more of a pressing.
Probably drinking games, and then Jess Jones season 3. It's a good idea.
We'll do drinking games and then that.
All right. So there you go. Unfortunately, kind of another Marvel property. We've kind of run into a little bit of a string here, Rye.
I'm not thrilled with it. If we're being honest.
Here's a question. Maybe we unpack this next week. Is the decline of the MCU going to destroy the #Dork podcast?
No.
We'll rise above it.
Because I feel as though DC is on the up.
Okay.
DC's coming back.
DC on the upswing.
With the Batman, is there another Peacemaker season 2?
Black Adam?
Is there Black Adam? Is there another Suicide Squad James Gunn movie coming?
I hope so. I don't know.
You hope so, right?
The Flash, which is kind of Aquaman 2. Right? Listen, they're not all winners.
Not all winners, but like they're trending upward.
Yeah.
Which I'm hopeful for Robert Pattinson, and
Plus, we have a lot of Star Wars properties now. They've also been kind of all over the place, but whatever.
They have also been. So I think we are at. I lived long enough to see the .com boom and bust. I think we are there with comic book movies. I think we have flown too close to the sun. Not to get mythological on you.
Yeah, and we literally did in the film Eternals.
We did.
Quite literally, they're like, here it is. Here's Marvel movies.
So what was the first movie after Endgame? It was Spider-Man?
Yeah. Spider-Man Far From Home, I believe.
Far From Home, and then it was Eternals?
No. It was Black Widow, I think.
Yeah, right. So at that point, when you saw Far From Home, if you were paying attention, you should have been like, I don't know. And then it went up with No Way Home. And then, I don't know.
Well, so Phase... No, so I would say Phase 4. Black Widow was solid.
Yep.
Shang-Chi was solid.
Yeah.
Solid. Eternals sucked out loud.
Yeah.
No Way Home, pretty good.
Yep.
Strange Multiverse of Madness went down. Love and Thunder started to tick up a little bit more, though.
Yeah.
So the next one is Black Panther Wakanda Forever on November 11th.
Fingers crossed.
Coogler's back.
Fingers crossed.
That's going to be tough. And then
you will know whether or not that's going to be good in the first 10 minutes of that movie.
Probably. Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania, where we're going to get what's his name? Kang the Conqueror.
Kang the Conqueror's back. Yep.
Then
that's
Guardians.
Positive.
Then Guardians 3. Then the Marvels. And then whenever they decide
to make like a Guardians Christmas special.
Yeah. That might be like animated though.
Oh, all right.
Or like a TV show. That's like a Disney Plus special, I think.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I don't know. I think we're done. I think
you might be fucking exhausted on that.
I think we're done.
All right. Well, let's get to this. Speaking of done.
Pick of the bomb.
All right, Ryan, would you like to kick, receive, defer, or you may choose at this time to defend a goal?
I will receive this week.
All right.
I did watch the Dave Chappelle special, What's in a Name. It's good. It was
That just come out?
huh?
That just come out?
Yeah.
Oh.
It's been out for like 2 weeks.
Oh, I missed it. All right.
So basically, the premise is that where he went, Duke Ellington High, which is like the performing arts high school he went to in DC, wanted to name their new theater after him. So it was going to be the Dave Chappelle Theater of Performing Arts. The story goes, so that happened right before the closer. And then there was all the controversy with the closer. So he actually talks about that and talking about having the school name something after him and how much the school meant to him. It's not straight comedy, but anytime Dave Chappelle talks, you listen. Like there are funny things about it, but very self-aware and like talking about art and talking about the closer and why he didn't think that it should have gotten the shit it got. He actually is pretty articulate. Like I'm not surprised.
Sure.
I'm not surprised, but he's like
Right.
super articulate about it and very thoughtful. So what I thought was and it's only 40 minutes, so it was really well done.
I'll check that out.
Yeah.
I know Bill Burr has a new special too. I haven't seen yet.
I don't want to watch it because I'm going to see him at Fenway.
Oh, and he might have
So
some.
I don't want to see if it's the same material.
I haven't
like-
watched it yet. I know I'm constipated with shows right now, so I gotta get around to that. I'm binging Euphoria. We tweeted it out a couple of days ago, but our guy Opie the Poet, who does the intro song for the podcast, he came out with a new rap single kind of song parody. Stranger Things season 4, set to the WAP song by Megan Thee Stallion and Cardi B, talking about the subtitles to Stranger Things season 4, which is hysterical because every time like Vecna or one of those characters on the screen, it was always like wet squelching.
Wet squelching.
It was over the
And
top.
when we were watching it, we would constantly remark to each other like fucking wet squelching again.
So smart, and it's well done. It's like a real quick rap. It's on YouTube, but we also tweeted out the link if you're looking for it. But our guy Opie the Poet, it's hysterical and it's really well done.
He does such a good job. With that shit, it's so.
And he like name checks every single character on the show too. Like says something about every single character and keeps going back to the references. I'd play it here, but we'd get flagged on YouTube for copyright because it's set to the beat of the Megan Thee Stallion song. So not gonna do that.
But go check it out. We'll tweet it out.
Yeah, we'll tweet it out again. We can put the link in here as well. So go check that out. So follow us on Twitter and Instagram if you don't mind at Dork Podcast. Help us out there. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, youtube.com/Dork Podcast. You can leave a review on Apple Podcasts, rate and subscribe there as well. At RVonD, at Keefe21 are the personal Twitter accounts. I think that'll do it. Rye, you don't give a shit about anything, do you?
What'd you say?
I said you don't give a shit about anything, do you?
Not really.